Hi families, today's video is all about self-control. So here we are on day 3 of social distancing with our pre-K counts program being suspended. I thought about now would be a good time to talk about self-control. Siblings might be getting into little arguments. We might be starting to get tired of being cooped up in the house. So I figured now would be a better time than any to talk about this lesson and help to further hone and improve and strengthen those skills that we need to learn early on so that in our adult life, we have highly developed skills of self-control. They are never a bad thing to have. So for the first part of the lesson, you and your child will watch together a YouTube video called Cookie Monster Practices Self-Control. Now, the video is about Cookie Monster getting a plate of cookies set in front of him and not being able to touch them. Excuse me, until he is told to. So that's pretty hard for me to do when I have a plate of cookies in front of me. I know it's hard for some of our preschool kids, and I can only imagine how hard it would be for Cookie Monster. He's a monster who loves cookies, right? Right. So following our YouTube video on self-control with Cookie Monster, I would suggest doing something called the bubble activity. Of course, if you don't have bubbles, I can send you a recipe to make bubbles with some dish soap and some sugar and water. If you don't have those ingredients, you can use something else that you know that your child or children really, really like to touch. For my son, it might be my phone. The minute I set my phone down, he wants to grab it and get on it and play on it. When in reality, I only let him have about 15 to 20 minutes of screen time a day. He knows better than to know when he grabs my phone that he's going to get time on it if he's already had time on it. So, for the bubble activity, or for any other activity, or for any other type of material that you would like to use to fit your lifestyle, what you would do the first time is you would have the child or children sit down and you would blow tons of bubbles all around them. Let them pop the bubbles. They could stand up and jump through the bubbles. They can have a lot of fun with the bubbles. Once all the bubbles have popped, you have the kids sit down and you tell them, now we're going to practice self-control. You have to sit there and I'm going to blow tons of bubbles all around you, and you cannot move to touch or pop or run through any of those bubbles, even if one lands on your nose. This is going to be very hard for some children, especially younger children. It's very hard for me. When I see a bubble, I want to pop it. It's human nature. It's something that we all automatically go to do. But it's also fun because if the child makes a mistake, at least they gave it a good try. We quickly praise and we quickly move on to trying it again. And we just, keep trying it, keep having fun with it until they actually get it, until they actually don't touch the bubbles. Now, once that's done, I will be sending a journal page that the children can record their feelings on. The journal page says, when I use self-control, I feel ... Now, we're certainly not looking for them to write an essay on this page. They are preschoolers. What I would expect for them to do would be to draw a picture of how they feel knowing they did a really great job using self-control. Something that they worked really hard to do. It was really hard to do, really hard not to touch those bubbles, but they achieved it. They did it. So when I use self-control, I feel, and they'll draw a picture of that. And then what you can do is you can dictate their feelings on the paper for them. How great they felt about using self-control, or maybe using self-control irritated me. Whatever the case, whatever their feelings are, record down what they actually say. Some of the students who are practicing their pre-writing and writing skills, of course, welcome them to sound out the words and begin to write them. Every child is at a different level of development, and some of the younger students will need things dictated for them, and some of the students may try to write a couple of the words on their own with your help. After that activity is complete, then again, Scholastic Book Flicks, which will be used in most lessons that I have planned because it's such a wonderful free resource. There is a Book Flicks that we'll use by logging on with the username Learning20 and the password Clifford, and it is called When Friends Fight. There are special vocabulary words in that book that are highlighted, like words such as compromise. And these conflict resolution skills are important socio-emotional skills that go along with having self-control. When two young friends fight, it may be a child's natural reaction to pop the other one right in the face, or push them or smack them. However, they are learning that's not appropriate. It's appropriate to keep your hands to yourself and use self-control. So that being said, they may keep their hands to themselves, but they may say something mean. They have to know that just because they're not putting their hands on someone, it's not okay to say something mean either. It's okay to deal with it appropriately by saying, what you did is not okay. Please stop. This time I'll forgive you. Teach them that we need to use our words to compromise. There are other important words in the story that are highlighted, but that is one word that I really wanted to make sure you pay special attention to, especially during this time when families are all together, not going out of the house as much unless necessary. So again, I just wanted to reiterate, practice that word compromise. I always tell the students, and Miss Lauren always tells the students in the classroom that most of the problems that we have, and this goes for adults and preschoolers, can be solved by simply talking to each other and communicating to each other clearly what we expect. And we practice that skill a lot in pre-K, and I want to make sure that in order for those skills to stay sharp, they are being practiced at home. It's very important that they continually be practiced at home. And that's important whether we are social distancing or not social distancing. It's always important. The more we use our words to tell how we feel, the better the other person will understand us. So to extend... Oh, well, before I forget, also, I will tell you every day to please make sure you turn into the Cincinnati Zoo live Facebook video at 3 p.m. because it's awesome. It's awesome. You just really should do it. It's the coolest thing ever. It's a great way to experience science while not being able to leave the house. Of course, there are other really cool hands-on ways to experience science, but if you're trying to conserve your products and you're trying to conserve things that you have, you don't have an overabundance of materials to do science projects, it's a really cool way to experience science. So to extend the lesson today, for today's lesson, what I am suggesting that you do is to play act situations where you have to use self-control. Pretend that you're at the store and somebody bumps your buggy and says, "Get out of my way." Practice your self-control. Practice what you would do. What would you do if somebody touches your dinner plate? What would you do if somebody takes a toy off of you? Play act these situations with your child. Now, in a very young child who is a very concrete thinker, because we know young children are concrete and they are also very egocentric, the play acting may transfer into them thinking that this is real. And you want to make sure that they know that this is not something that's really happening. And they could very easily think that a situation that we're play acting actually turns into something real. So that being said, for younger students, I would suggest maybe doing this with stuffed animals or figurines. Imitating with the figurines. "Hey, you took my toy. I'm sorry, let me give it back to you. I didn't mean to take it, I just really wanted it." So those types of things. Use your action figures, use figurines, use cars. Hey, in the world of imagination, cars can have voices, right? So that would be one thing that I would suggest. Of course, try the play acting, but with younger children, using a stuffed animal or some type of toy or figurine might be the best way to go about this. Now, I would love to see pictures of the journal pages. I'd love to see pictures of you modeling self-control and positive conflict resolution skills with your action figures or figurines. I'd love to see pictures of the bubble activity. I'd just love to see pictures of whatever you would like to send me. I miss these kids, and I need to feel some sort of connection with them when I'm not with them, because we are like a family in our classroom, and I look forward to greeting them every morning. And obviously we don't have that right now. So I hope you all stay well. I hope that the social distancing isn't too tough for you. I'm working hard here thinking of things for you guys to do. And, I just really hope you give it a try. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.